Well, hello, my stamping friends. It's Leslie with LuvINK&Paper at a rather odd time. But we got to fit things in when we can fit them in this week. So, it's just a thing. Anyway, hello. I hope you are well this afternoon and that you are not rushing around like a crazy person, that you are feeling prepared and ready to enjoy time with your family and friends. Okay, so anyway, welcome. I do still have this host code open and probably will for a little bit. I might even keep it open through the new catalog launch, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, if you try it and it doesn't work, I closed it out. Anyway, all right, so we are playing with the Notes from the Heart December 2024 paper pumpkin kit. If you will remember, back last week or so, we made the three mostly as the kit showed. This one in particular, I just felt needed a little bit more, so I cut apart one of the envelopes. Now, this that they show on the envelope is not printed on there. They are labels. Here they are. Okay, they're labels that you put on. Okay, they peel out their stick because the dark green envelopes would be hard to write on. So they give you labels. I've got some alternatives to use with the labels and with the negative space. So don't go away. All right, so let's put this all aside. And the one thing I did want to show you was that the stamp set that comes with this kit is only greetings, which I actually like. You can never have enough really good greetings, and I love sort of even the single word or multiple word, at least one word has this fun scripty first letter. I just think that that's cool. And they didn't always put it as the very first word, and I like that too. So kind of mixed and matched, except for congrats and lots of love. Somehow they got overlooked and they don't have a fancy letter. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so that's that. Now, the other thing we are going to be using today are these Mary tags and more dies. These were the quarterly add-on for the October, November, December kits. I had to count backwards. There is a new set of dies. I forgot what they're called. They are available now for the January, February, March kits. Okay, mine are on order. All right, so we're going to use some of these shapes. This fern really ties in nicely with the botanical images of this kit. All right, so what comes in your kit? Well, we talked about that a little bit before. Remember that in your first kit, you get a block, something like this. It may even say paper pumpkin on it. It's roughly the size of our D block, okay? It's not as thick. I like our ergonomic blocks. They have a little groove, and I think they're easier to grip. Those are available in the online store if you want one. When you get your first kit, though, you want to make sure you save your block, okay? Then in each kit that you get a little ink spot, okay, so a small ink pad. I tend not to open these and use them. I give them away as door prizes or lots of other different things. Take them traveling or what have you. I tend to sub in my full-size pads. I just find them easier to use, especially when I'm on camera. All right, so that's that, right? We talked about blocks, we talked about ink. Okay, my seal is likely, so they also give you adhesive in your kit, often little bits of, here, this, so small sheets of dimensionals, bigger sheets. In fact, these come 3 sheets to a package in the online store, so I may just use what's open. Oops, there's my notes. Let's put those up there. There we go. Whoops, nope. All right, I have an idea. I'll just take a little piece of adhesive and stick it right to there, my light. And I hope that's not interfering. All right, so I have a seal refill just for when that runs out. I have our labels that came in the kit. And let's get started. So the first one that I want to do uses a couple of different pieces here. Okay. And I may end up doing some trimming. What did I do with that? There it is. Okay. So what I did was I checked the back of the, hang on, I should have kept this out. So on the back side of your instructions, there's a place where it tells you what's in here, and then also coordinating colors. So Blackberry Bliss, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, Pretty in Pink, Very Vanilla, and Gold. All right. Here's where it talks about the add-on, the dyes. Okay. I chose some Mossy Meadow, some Blackberry Bliss, and some Pretty in Pink to accent some of the cards that I'm doing today. All right, so here's a Pretty in Pink. It is 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, and then this is this is not Mossy Meadow cardstock. This is one of the envelope pieces that I cut down to just over 3 1/4. So that would be 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. Okay, so just a little bit different. Okay, then I took our card base and I counted over 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scallops and scored it because that was roughly the middle. I counted across and I think there were like 13 or 14 bumps. So I just folded it backwards. Okay, you don't even have to measure. You could just fold till the scallops line up and do that. So we're gonna have a quick little Z-fold card. Now, some of you may have noticed there's a tiny bit of what I believe is lemon lolly on the base of this, just to not have it be flat white. Okay, it's the tiniest hint, and unless your lighting is really good, you might not notice it. But anyway, that's going to be folded in. We're not going to really pay a whole lot of attention to that. We are going to give this a really good score, and a bone folder is a really good add-on tool if you don't already have one. Okay. And I've said before, pretty often, really these kits are designed for you to be able to put them together as designed by Stampin' Up using just a pair of good sharp scissors. Okay. But if you want to play around with some other things, you may want some other tools. Now, I am going to very carefully decide where I want to trim this. All right, so what I think I'm going to do is come down in between here, like this, come across here, up and around here, and I'm going to do I'm going to do some extra cutting, but I just wanted to get this, whoops, there. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to cut that whole leaf off. And some people are going to think that they need to do all the rest of the white. I am not one of those people. I don't have an issue with some having the white border and some not, okay? If you do, then happy cutting, okay? I'm gonna just go around. Okay. So I'm gonna just maximize my die cuts here. So I'm gonna be able to use one die cut on 2 different cards. Okay. So I'm just gonna give this flower a little bit of a trim. Okay. Come in here. And just this. Now I'm debating on what to do with this bud that's sticking way out. I think I want to leave it. I think I want to leave it. So what I'm going to do, I think, is just kind of go like that, get that out of the way. And since I came in here, I'm just going to trim a little bit of this so it looks a little more like the rest of the die. Okay, so I'm just going to trim a little of that off. I think it kind of blends where I trimmed it way down to where I didn't, and I'm pretty good with that. Okay. All right, so let's put those out of the way and I'll do some trimming and use this, or I'll cover this part up, tuck it in, and nobody will ever notice. So there's that option too. In fact, yeah, I might even do, well, we'll see. All right, so let's pull this and hang on, I just want to see. Yeah, I want a little of this too. All right, we're going to trim this as well. I'm going to snip this here like that, and we're going to trim this the teeniest bit like that. And that, and this. All right, so we actually trimmed that into 3 pieces. 2 of them I'm going to use here, I think. I'm going to use part of this like that, and then tuck this other piece, let me get these scissors off my hands, up here. So it kind of appears, whoops, we got to do a little fixing here. This looks pretty bad. There we go. Oh, better. Anyway, what we want to do is kind of make this look as though it were a continuation, okay? That it's not 2 parts, but it's actually one continuous piece. Okay. And you know what? We're going to do something else. Hang on. We're going to take one of our labels. Okay, let's do a little gluing so we can get some things organized here. Okay, so we're going to adhere this to the Pretty in Pink layer. Get that with a nice even border all the way around. Then we're going to pull our label, because on this one I need the outside. So we're going to put our label in the middle here. Okay. Then we're going to, oh yeah, that shows up much better. Oh yeah, I like that. So much better. Like that. We're going to just tip them. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay. So now let's very carefully. What we're going to do is, and I don't want any, well, yeah, I think it can go on dimensionals. Hang on. We're going to put one here. And I think that will be covered. And we're going to put one, whoops, here. And I think that will be covered. And then we'll put some out at the very, very tips of these leaves so they won't be interfering. Okay. So we're going to put them way, way out here at the edge so they won't get involved in this. That. Okay. Oh, maybe a mini. Do I have any? Nope. Okay, never mind. It'll be fine. All right. There's that. Here's this. Okay, there we go. Oh, that, I like that a lot. All right, gotta save that because that's, we're gonna use this negative piece on another card. I'm wondering if I meant to use it on this card. It's okay, we'll figure it out. No worries. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now we need to kind of, what I'm going to do is take this and just put that there. And where do I have another one? Here. There. So what that is going to do for me is point out that I want adhesive only over here. Okay? So I've used these Post-it notes to show me where the edge is, okay, of where I folded. So I only want adhesive on this side, okay, over here. So let's put our adhesive here and here and maybe a little bit there. Okay. Then I can kind of position this using the Post-it notes again to kind of help me, and very gently take those off. And now my card opens like that. All right, so I don't want a real big, huge honking greeting on this because it's going to cover up too much. So we're going to put something a little bit small here. Gosh, Get well soon really has to go in the circle, and I'm not sure I want that. I think we'll try a thank you. Okay. And we'll use this. Whoa, that got bent. Did you see that? It's curvy. So what you want to do is kind of lay it, just let it be, and then pick it up this way. Don't try and put it on your block because you could end up with a mess. Okay. All right, there we go. Now remember, I usually say do your stamping first, right? Yeah. I should take my own advice, shouldn't I? So I don't make a mess. Okay. All right, and I think we'll just cover up so we don't have floating stems. I think we're just going to put that on with dimensionals down there. All right, let's use up some of these edges because we have them. Might as well use them. All right. So we'll go here, and we'll go. Oop, you don't need quite that much. So, and just because I think it looks kind of neat, we're going to go just outside of that box, like that. So we're going to just hang over that little bit a little. I like that. All right, so there's one. So there's our Z-fold card, okay? So another thing that I thought about was these vellum pieces didn't really have a lot of pop, okay? Which was a little frustrating. So let me, hang on. Okay, whoops, just made a mess. Let me just do one thing real quick here. We're gonna just, I've shown this little trick before, but it bears repeating. If you're making a couple of cards anyway, feel free to score in one direction in half. So this is the 4 1/4 direction. Okay. Then I'm going to take and turn this cardstock and cut it at the 5 1/2 inch mark. So now I have 2 card bases scored and ready. All right. So let's figure out what we're doing here. All right. So for this one, we'll put that there. Hang on. What was I going to show you? Oh, I know. So I don't know. You know what? Hang on. I could use one of our the kit card bases, but I'm going to just use, because I want to save those scallopy ones, I'm going to use just this thick white base. That's another great add-on if you're going to be somebody that is going to do alternate cards. Having thick white cardstock is a good idea, okay? It makes it really fun. Okay, so this tore a little bit when I embossed it, but can you see that there's texture on there now? So I just took and ran this through with my distressed tile embossing folder, and these two pieces tore off, but that's not a huge deal. All we have to do is do a tiny little bit of surgery. So we'll take that one off and we'll trim that one, and maybe this one. Okay, so I can use these little ones to stick out somewhere else, and then we're just going to take off this little bit of stem right there. Okay, so now I have this. Okay, I can have this peeking out from somewhere. All right, where's that other piece? No, I haven't something else I want to do with that. So let's grab our big fern. So we use this die cut. Okay. And we'll tuck a little, so we've got a little bit of that over there, and we'll have a little bit of this over here. So a couple of different pieces of vellum in there coming out from behind there. Kind of liking that. Right? And we can even add a couple right here. Okay, in with that. To kind of tie those two together. All right, so let's do a little glue dot here. All right, here we go. Another really handy add-on is your take your pick tool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just going to kind of roll up this glue dot to something a little skinny and get it right along that leaf and stem part, like that. And put that right in here. Okay. Then we'll put a glue dot right down here, like that. Right. So you can see that one's, you can see that glue dot, okay? But that's okay because it's going to be covered up by the fern. All right? So we just have to get a couple more glue dots holding this piece in place. Let's put one right up here. Kind of hold those two leaves together like that. And one down here near the end. Okay. And we'll just kind of roll that right there. Okay. There. So again, you can kind of see those, but we're gonna just cover them up a bit. Like that with our fern. I think I'm gonna make that fern pop up. Okay. So I'll add some dimensionals. like that. I think I'll do one more. I know, this is overkill. I don't need this many. But, you know, sometimes you just get going and you just keep going, I guess. You know? Why not, right? Okay. There's that. And I think I might tuck. Yeah. I think I'm going to put a teeny drop of glue right there and slide it down in here like that, so that some of those leaves look like they're kind of sticking out as a continuation. Okay. All right, let's put this on. I have a feeling this is the last hurrah for the yep, almost. Okay. And okay, so we've used some texture on the vellum, we've colored the vellum, we've done lots of little add-ons to that vellum, okay, which is kind of fun. All right, let's do, actually, let's put a few of our little gold sparkly gems here. We'll put one up here and a big one down here. Actually, I might want to, nope, that's good. And then one little one down there. Okay, then I'm going to use one of the round greetings. Maybe just a note. Let's see about that. Yeah, I think just a note will be perfect. And we'll use that Blackberry Bliss from the kit. And again, I didn't take my own advice and do this first. Are you guys just screaming at me out there? Like, Leslie, stamp first. You tell us that all the time. And I do. Give that just a second. I'm going to try really hard not to touch it. Okay. And we'll put a couple of little. All right, like that. Okay. And let's hope that I didn't just smudge it all over the place. Nope, looks good. And we'll come over here and we'll do that. Okay, just a note. All right, so far we have our Z-fold. We have some ways to alter the vellum, okay, and use the envelope paper. All right, so let's see, what else do we have? All right, let's go with this one. And so this isn't exactly the right color, but because so much of that white is covered, I felt like it was okay to do that. All right, so let's put this all together. So we have a blackberry base, okay. I could even have used some of that white on the inside, or I could use a white label on the inside as my little writing place if I don't need a very big message. Lots of options for that, but we're going to start with the front of a card base. I trimmed it just a little bit smaller, okay. And I mostly went from the width. I did not muck with the length, but because these are scallops, and even though it's basically the same size as the card front, it doesn't look like it is. It looks like it has more of a border because of the indents. So I was good with that. And then this went smaller, and I'm kind of lining it up with this straight edge. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to grab my liquid glue. I've talked to you guys again a little bit about that, so if you've been hanging with me a while, you know that the liquid glue is actually my glue, my adhesive of choice when I'm using an embossed piece. Okay, so when you emboss something like that, you want to have it so that the glue will squish into all those nooks and crannies nicely and hang on to that a little bit better. Okay, so I just took the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder, and you wouldn't have to. You could, you know, you could add some texture some other way, or you could even rip. There's a lot of things you could do if you don't happen to have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay. All right, then we're gonna take this, and I happen to have this little bow that I didn't know what to do with the other day, and so we're gonna use that up there. I know, right? Sometimes you just, it was waiting for this particular moment. That's what it was doing. I didn't want to use it for the card that I was doing the other day. It was covering too much of what I wanted showing. So let's put this on. And I am going to do that little jaunty angle thing. Sometimes I like things squared up nice and neat. Sometimes I don't. So this time, not going to have it nice and neat. We're going to tuck that bow, cover up the hole right there. Okay, a little bit of leftover linen thread that I had kicking around. Okay, we have our fern. Okay, whoops, there's a spot that didn't, there we go. Right, we'll add a little liquid glue. This is the same liquid glue, I just happened to put it in this little precision tip bottle, and I hope, oh, there it goes. And we'll just put the tiniest little bit so it doesn't squish out. The problem with this squishing out is not so much the showing, because it does dry clear, but it dries tacky. So things will stick to it if it's squished out onto your project. And I do not like that. So let's put this here. Okay, whoop. Come on, bow, get out of there. There we go. Okay, and then we can grab one of our round labels. So remember, we got an entire extra sheet of labels, and I'm really kind of okay with the fact that these are two different colors. But if you're not okay with that, you could, all my blending brushes I put back. Anyway, you could put some ink on there. You know what? Let me grab one. Hang on. Don't go away. I'll grab one. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a little bit of this, and do I have a little bit of scrap paper? I do, somewhere. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So, I'll do that, and I'll very, very lightly, I don't even hardly want any ink on there. Okay, I'm just gonna get most of it off, and I'm just gonna give this the tiniest highlight. Okay, so now we've got a slightly different color for our label. And then we're going to take we're going to take off just a note. Put that there, and we're going to grab the Get Well Soon. Ooh, and my Versamark is here. I want to show you guys a trick. Some people swear by this trick. I don't always do it, and I guess I probably should. Okay. They say because photopolymer stamps are really porous, they suck up whatever ink that you have, whatever you use first. So even though I've cleaned these stamps, because I used them in Blackberry Bliss, they stained. Okay, now I don't happen to have a problem with that, but if you like your stamps to not look so stained, they say if you ink them in Versamark first, okay, then clean them. All right, so give it a good rub, clean that ink off, and hopefully not drop it in your ink pad and get ink on anything else. Okay. They say that it will not stain as badly. So, not really sure about that. Ooh, that looks really pretty. Okay, but kind of looks like they might be right. Okay, so just food for thought if you're somebody that likes to keep your stamps looking really nice. You can see the difference, okay, where these ones I did not and this one I did. It definitely did not stain nearly as badly. Okay, so this, by putting that ink on, it also disguised the fact that these are not the same color. Okay, so let's put a couple of dimensionals here. And I have one last thing to show you. Okay, there we go. All right. So I played around. The fun part with adding color to your vellum pieces. Okay, you can see I added some Mossy Meadow to that one. Is if you do it on cardstock, you get this cool background first, right? So let's use a Mossy Meadow card base. And then this is just a 3.5 by 5, because you can get 5 out of a, so you get a little bit wider margin here than you do on the top and the bottom. I don't have an issue with that. If you do, then you can do 3.5 by 4 3/4. But anyway, it's all good. All right, so I'm going to put this on here. Okay. Then I think what I want to do is add this and this and possibly, hang on, I like that because I'm disguising without having to cut a whole lot more. All right, I am going to do a little tiny bit of trimming. There, and a little bit of trimming here. All right. So then what I can do is tip this way and this way. And then we get those nice pieces on there. Like that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's start gluing things, I think. Trying to find the best way to do this. All right. Let's start with a little bit of glue down in under here. Okay. So that won't, you don't really need a whole lot, but we'll find one more spot maybe up in here. And there is another trick I could show you, but I didn't want to get out my sponge. Okay, so there's that. Okay, then we're going to add a little glue to this. Okay, and I think what we want to do is go here. Okay, then we'll add a little glue onto here. Like that, and that kind of disguises that spot, okay, where I had to do some surgery before. Okay, harder to find it. If you really look, you can find it, but you know what, if you're looking that hard, you don't deserve one of my cards anyway. All right, so let's add a greeting. We have a couple of these ovals left, which could go down there. And what do we want to use? You know what? Let's do a happy birthday. I know, kind of stained there, happy birthday. And I think just for fun, because there's more Mossy Meadow on this than Blackberry Bliss, I'm going to go with Mossy Meadow on this. I haven't done a lot with that, but let's do that. Okay. Let's not stamp it on there where it's uneven. Oh my goodness. There we go. There. Now let's see. Okay. A little better, not much. There's that. Let's make sure the thank you got cleaned really well. Guess it'll always be clear which stamps I use the most, right? Oops, let's move just a note over a little bit. Make a little more room for thank you. There we go. All right. Okay, cover this. So what I didn't end up showing you that I really wanted to was to use this. But what I think I'll do is, thought I had a little more, another piece of envelope. Let me get through this one and see if I can just show you, because it's so cute. It's such a fun way to do it. All right, there's that. Okay. All right, so there's that. Nope, no. We're gonna put a couple of these on here. I know, I could get out my take your pick tool, or I could just do, you know what? No, I think we're gonna do it that way. I try hard to find a good balance. So if I have something kind of heavy, like this greeting down here, I want to put something else. So if I'm having two here, we'll just have one kind of in here, and that kind of balances things. So you do kind of want to watch for that in your card making, is kind of balance, okay? All right, so let me put that over there. And let's see if I have a piece of envelope paper that I already took apart. I do. I just have to do a little more trimming on it, but that's not too hard, so let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna very carefully trim off just that edge, like that. Okay. Then we're gonna cut off right about here. And that should, aha. You just need to cut far enough in so that the glue for this edge, you're cutting that off. Okay, so we're gonna go about here, cut that off, and that should take, yep, those pieces off. And I think nearly perfect. Okay. Then the last part is to cut off the arch. Okay. There we go. All right, so now I have this piece. And you know what? I think I want to take just a smidge more length off. No, maybe I'm okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, you can see how precise my measurements are, right? So we're just going to take that off and kind of look and try to not pull it out of shape. Okay. That looks pretty good. Whoops. It's a little bit cockeyed. That looks pretty good. Okay. And if you're somebody that likes it really precise, you could always do a tiny trim if you felt like, oh, it's too wide over here. It's, you know what? By the time you get some things kind of leaking out, it's not going to show anyway. All right, so hang on here. Let's bring our other piece of all right, hang on. Okay. So now you have positive and negative images, and you could allow, I'm not going to glue this down because I may have another image that I want to stamp and color and add instead. But I just wanted to show you kind of what I was thinking. So you can have some of that, whoops, some of that within the image and some coming out. Okay, if that was a look you liked, all right, you could trim this die cut so you only have the big peony and you could use the little peony for something else. Okay. There's lots you could do with that. Okay, so just know that you can play with that negative piece of the sticker. Don't throw it away. Basically what I'm telling you. Okay. All right, so let's look at the cards we did finish today. So we talked about the negative sticker image. Okay. Put some of these tools away. Never did run out of seal. That was good. Then we have the happy birthday with the, by coloring the vellum on the white cardstock, you get that kind of cool background, right? We used the die cuts and some embossing, an embossing folder, and then we blended some color onto a label, right? So here we had some texture on the vellum, we had some colored vellum, we had a label from the kit, okay, and the gems. And then this one we just modified the card base itself by adding an extra score, adding a little bit more cardstock, and trimming down one of the die cuts and using some of that colored vellum. Okay, so I think, I hope that that was really fun for you. It was fun for me. I enjoy getting together with you. So enjoy, and I am hoping whatever holiday you and your loved ones celebrate is wonderful, and I will see you in the new year. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.